chosen ones, there's a moment that happens before reality changes. The person who sees it first gets isolated, questioned, labeled. Take a second and pay attention to who called you crazy. It was always the people most threatened by what you were building quietly. And this is where you realize you were never ahead of your time. You were ahead of their capacity. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. This won't be a gentle message, not today, because there's nothing soft about being gaslit by the world for seeing the storm before the clouds formed. There's nothing peaceful about being laughed out of the room for speaking truths that hadn't happened yet. You weren't wrong, you were just early, and now the world is finally late enough to understand you. But let's rewind, because the lie didn't start when they called you broken. It started the moment you tried to make yourself small just to keep their comfort intact. You didn't shrink because you doubted your vision. You shrank because their fear was louder than your knowing. You were surrounded by people who didn't want the truth. They wanted permission to stay asleep. You gave them neither, so they gave you a label: crazy, too intense, unstable, dramatic. But here's what they'll never admit out loud: they understood you more than they let on. Your words didn't confuse them, they convicted them. Your energy didn't repel them, it revealed them. And that's what terrified them. You weren't just talking. You were broadcasting from a future they had no reference for. You ever wonder why your presence stirred so much resistance? It's because you forced clarity into places that were surviving on illusion. You didn't bring chaos, you disrupted their choreography. While they danced in circles, repeating the same rituals of approval and conformity, you stood there, still, sovereign, silent. And in that silence they heard everything they were trying not to face. They mocked you because mockery is a safer mask than humility. It's easier to laugh at what you don't understand than it is to evolve toward it. They weren't rejecting you, they were rejecting the activation you carried. You weren't designed to be liked, you were wired to awaken. And awakeners are rarely welcomed by the systems they come to shake. Look back. How many times did you dim your frequency just to keep the peace? How many times did you translate your truth into a language that made their egos feel safe? And every time you did, didn't something inside you feel like it was dying? You were never meant to soften your sight. You were meant to see through. You were never meant to dilute your depth. You were meant to dismantle the shallow. But when you carry future insight in a present built on pretending, they will always try to crucify you before they crown you. And you've been carrying scars in silence. Scars from battles fought not with weapons, but with doubt, ridicule, and dismissal. But scars are sacred. Scars mean the truth touched you first. You walked through the fire before anyone even smelled the smoke. And now the flames are everywhere. And the ones who once told you to sit down are quietly sitting in the ash. You weren't the problem. You were the forecast. Your madness wasn't madness. It was a message wrapped in discomfort. You weren't losing your mind. You were losing your tolerance for lies. So here's the truth they didn't want to hear. They never feared you were wrong. They feared you might be right. You threatened their reality, not by force, but by being free. And freedom terrifies the imprisoned mind. Not because it's violent, but because it makes the cage visible. And once someone sees the cage, they can't pretend to be comfortable inside it anymore. You didn't come here to decorate the cell. You came to tear off the door and walk out. Barefoot, bleeding, brilliant. And now they're watching you from behind the bars they still pretend don't exist. Let them. Because this next part of your journey doesn't require their permission, only your remembrance. You're not here to convince them anymore. You're here to become undeniable. Because now, what was once laughed at is becoming lived. The forecasts you whispered when no one believed you are now thundering through their headlines, their timelines, their lives. And suddenly, your so-called instability looks a lot like divine timing. They mocked you for speaking dreams that had no language yet. But dreams don't wait for consensus. They move through the courageous, not the comfortable. And you, my friend, were courageous long before you were ever confident. You said things that made the air freeze. You noticed patterns while others were still mesmerized by the performance. You heard the cracks in the mask before it even fell. That wasn't madness. That was sacred perception. That was a gift they tried to curse. Because when someone can see clearly in a world addicted to illusion, they become a threat. Not because of what they do, but because of what they reveal. You revealed the truth, and that makes you dangerous to anyone living a lie. And now reality is catching up to what you saw. People are starting to feel what you felt all along. The tiredness, the dissonance, the echoing silence beneath the noise of their lives. They're beginning to question the script, the jobs, the titles, the filters, the polished identities they thought would save them. But guess what? You already left that party. You were the one who stopped dancing to the music everyone pretended to enjoy. You were the one who sat down in the middle of the performance and whispered, "This isn't real." And they called you broken. But look around now. The stage is collapsing. The props are falling. The actors are forgetting their lines. And suddenly, you don't seem so crazy anymore. They're replaying your words in their heads, trying to remember what you said when they weren't listening. They're scrolling through old conversations, wishing they had paid attention instead of making jokes. They thought your vision was too much, but it wasn't too much. It was just honest. You told the truth too early, and in a world built on delay and distraction, early looks like error. But time has a funny way of catching up to the truth, and when it does, the same people who tried to silence you come back around with soft eyes and careful words. They want to understand now. They want to know how you saw it coming, how you stayed grounded when the ground began to shake. Here's how. You stopped asking for agreement. You stopped seeking safety in numbers. You stopped outsourcing your sanity to people who were still trying to impress ghosts. You trusted what you knew, and even when it was lonely, especially when it was lonely, you kept walking. You were scorched by misunderstanding, cut by assumptions, drenched in the discomfort of being the only one who saw. But now it's your turn to breathe. Not because they finally see you, but because you finally don't need them to. You were never meant to be explained. You were meant to be felt. You were never meant to prove your clarity to the blind. You were meant to stand in your light until the world adjusted its eyes. And now that they're squinting to catch up, you're not obligated to slow down. Don't wait for apologies. Don't wait for recognition. Your reward was never their approval. It was your becoming. Because who you are now is unrecognizable to the version of you who begged to be understood. That version wanted peace. This one creates it. That version wanted space. This one owns it. That version wanted acceptance. This one needs none. You're not just the one who saw it coming. You're the one who walked through it and didn't lose your mind. You became the proof. So let them reconcile the contradiction. Let them sit in the awkward silence of everything they once denied. You're not a warning anymore. You're the evidence. So move like it, stand like it, speak like it, because you, my friend, were never broken. You were delivered early. And this moment is finally on your time. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.